What's up, pioneers? We are back with another episode with your girl. It's me. And I realized that I talked a lot about a lot of topics, and I have a lot in this channel, but I want to talk about how I came to in my process of embracing and loving me. Because I feel like we hear all the time about self-love, self-care, and all these things, but nobody really tells you how. How. So if anybody knows, if you've watched any of the episodes before, you know that I was very self-deprecating, did not like myself, was 1000% not about me, was not team me. I was literally team everybody else. And I feel like that just came from, I guess, me seeing other people around me not necessarily prioritize me. And so I was like, let me just do what everybody else is doing. But also, I was picked on and teased about my body and other things. And so I feel like all of that just accumulated into this really negative self-view that I had of myself. And I would play into it and be like, you know what, self, you really ain't nothing. You ain't gonna be nothing. Like it was a lot. I had a lot of negative self-talk. And so I feel like the embracing me journey has taken years. And what you see in front of you is not the final product, because there's still parts of me that I don't 100% embrace and accept. And that's okay, because it's a journey, not a destination. But I want to say, I think one of my first things that I had to really hone in on was uncovering all of these truths that I accepted as truths about me, but weren't actually. So things like me not being good enough, me not being worthy. Like I really just had to sit down with myself and be like, what is it about me that makes me so unlovable? What is it about me that makes me unworthy? And it's just like, yes, I'm stubborn. Yes, I'm not always indecisive. Sometimes it might take me hours to figure out what I want to eat. Sometimes I'm hot-tempered. Sometimes I say things that I don't mean. Like all of these things. It's like, okay, I have all of these flaws, but it's like, what is it about these flaws? This is just like, X's me out when everybody else has flaws. And I do really good with accepting everybody else's flaws and loving everybody else through their flaws. But why is it that I can't turn that inward and love myself through my flaws? Knowing that we all just out here as humans. We're all just out here. And I didn't have a good answer for that. I was like, I don't know. It's just what I'm used to. And I'm just like, okay, so here's the fork in the road. You can either continue doing what's comfortable, or you can start implementing things that make you uncomfortable but help you grow. And I'm just like, I gotta do what? And I was like, like the comfortable road sounds like the fun road, sounds like the better road, because it's what I'm used to. And let me tell you, that's normal. A lot of us choose what is comfortable over what's new and uncomfortable. 1000%. And it's such a human thing. And I feel like it's just because it's what we're used to. So it's like the demon you know versus the demon you don't know, essentially, even though that's not a demon, which I feel like me and Lauren talked about a little bit in our attachments, but we're naturally going to go for and go towards things that we're used to. And so embracing me still to this day, is active. It's not something that you can just passively be like, oh, one day I'll get there and then do absolutely nothing. It's like when you want to work out and you're like, I want this specific body, but then you're like, I'm just going to keep eating what I'm eating and not doing anything, and I'm going to get that body. You're not. The same thing applies to your mental, emotional health. So anything that you're working on, you need to make sure that you're isolating it. So it's like, you can't just go in and do total body every single day. I mean, you could, but your muscles need a break. So I feel like the same could be applied for mental, emotional health. So we go in and it's just like, all right, today I'm going to work on this. Tomorrow I'm going to work on this. And just do it bit by bit, piece by piece, and not try to look at it as I have to get all of my stuff together in one shebang. So the first thing I worked on was my negative self-talk, which to me is the simplest, because it's just like, think about all of the bad thoughts you have about yourself, stop it, or just add extra. So like whenever I'm like, bro, you so dumb, I'm like, stop it. Don't be talking about yourself like that. Say something nice. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm not dumb, but I was a little slow in that moment, but I am overall an intelligent human being. Like that was uncalled for. Think about it as like, if you wouldn't want your child to say it or your friend to say it, somebody that you really care about, don't say it to yourself either. Like if you wouldn't be like, oh friend, you really dumb, and like mean it and not be in a playful way, even in a playful way too though. I'm not with the whole like, let's roast people or let's jokingly insult people. That's dumb to me. Like I don't really do that. I might be like, girl, you crazy, but that's because you are crazy. So that's what I believe. That's like the extent of that. That's as far as that goes. So it's just like, do that and start really like paying attention to the way that you're thinking about yourself, the way that you're internally talking to yourself, because that's going to make one of the first key differences in the way that you physically see yourself. The next thing I did was working on my body image. And so to this day, y'all, when I'm about to go shower, sometimes I'll put on some music and I'll dance in my mirror butt naked. And I can see all of the things that are wrong. And I'm just like, ooh, girl, like we need to like tone these arms up. Like we got these back rolls, but I'm just like, excuse me, the music is on. Let's pay attention to the music and let's love our body and the fact that we can move and dance and be naked in the mirror. Like, focus. It's all about attention. It's all about focus. And I mean, that's part two, because if you focus on the negative, you're only going to see the negative. And I think, again, as a human being, that's really common for us to be focused on the negative instead of being like, okay, but what's the positive in this situation? We get used to negative. Our media is saturated in negative. Like, think of the news. I watched that once when I was 13 and I was like, I'm never watching the news again. It's just depressing. It's just, you have like two good things in there and then the rest is just this person died, this person died, this person died. Oh, and then this person's doing this person's doing that. This is all bad. This person's being released from, it's a lot going on. Positivity. You have to cultivate those things, the positives. And I feel like, especially as women, embracing ourselves is a lot harder because we do have so many outside forces that are dictating what we should and shouldn't accept as women. Like, we should be like this, we should look like this, we should act like this, all of these other things. And it's just like, we really have to quiet the outside noise, because at the end of the day, it's all about what we think. It's not really about what anybody else thinks. And I get, you know, a little caught in that from time to time, because I'm like, no, because they're gonna think this, and this of me. I'm weird. Y'all know I'm weird. Like, I am weird. So I'm so like in my head about, oh, they're gonna think this, and this. But it's just like, at the end of the day, what? They think I'm weird? Because I am. They reject me? Okay. And there's like a whole host of other people who don't reject me. But you don't get to the people that don't reject you because you're so focused on the people that do reject you. And it's just like, that doesn't help you in embracing yourself. What about the people that love you even if it's one person that's just like, I love you and I ride for you unconditionally, knowing that you are flawed, but I still love you anyways. And that could be even a non-human person. That could be a pet. That could be a cat, a dog, a fish, a lizard, a frog, a turtle, whatever you want it to be. But I feel like focus on that and then build. Now, we're going to talk about building friendships because I'm also learning how to do that. Stay tuned for that. But embracing yourself, embracing ourselves, embracing me is a journey. It is not something that just happens. It is something that you actively have to work towards to create and to manage. Because a lot of times too, we might work out and get that dream body and then it's just like, now you got to manage it. And it's like, bro, for real, continuing to say nice things to yourself and reminding yourself who you are, looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, girl, today might be a little rough, but you're crushing it, okay? Or being like, girl, I know you're tired. I'm tired too. Like, I get it, but you got this. You a warrior. You a princess. You a queen. You know, like just things that help yourself and actually make you feel better. And honestly, too, speak truth, because you know what the truth is. It's so much more convenient to lie to ourselves, but we know what the truth is. The truth is you're not a bad person. You're not a terrible person. You're not an unlovable person. Because if you were, you wouldn't be here. We're all lovable. And I feel like that's the kind of semi-hard part because, you know, we live in dichotomies and we kind of want to be like, oh, well, some people are actually bad and like do bad things. And it's just like, but God still loves them. Like, that's the point. That's why Jesus died. Jesus didn't just die for the put togethers. Jesus died for the also raggedy toe up from the flow ups. You know, like this is a continuum. This is a spectrum, and it's really hard to embrace, but that still means that Jesus died for you too. So it's okay to love yourself. It's okay to embrace yourself, every part of you. And if you find something that you're like, okay, I'm writing this list, here are my flaws, this is something I don't like, guess what? You have the power to change it. Ain't that crazy? You always do. So like my stubbornness and hard-headedness gets in the way a lot. And I feel like, you know, I've gotten better It might not be like a huge improvement, but I am consciously like, okay, some things I really don't need to be stubborn about. And I know that. And so I'm making the conscious effort to work on that. That's a character flaw that I would like to change. And so again, it's not something that's going to be instantaneous. It's not like, oh, girl, I decided to change this. And so a year later, I'm no longer stubborn, y'all. I'm cured. No. Especially considering I got this genetically as well. Yep. If y'all watching, y'all know who y'all is because I call y'all stubborn and hard-headed all the time. Which I think is also part of the human condition. I don't think it's just me. I feel like a lot of us are stubborn and hard-headed. Like, just saying. But there is nothing about you that is unlovable. There's nothing about you that is not worthy of love. Tell yourself that. Remind yourself of that. Regardless of how anybody treated you in the past, how you felt about the way people treated you in the past, that does not change the fact that you are still worthy of love and you are still valuable, regardless of what anybody else says. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm gonna have a TED Talk one day, y'all. Be on the lookout. Anywho, I might do a part 2 of this because I feel like there's a little bit more I could talk about. Obviously, it's embracing me. It's ever changing. It's ever happening. So stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys next Monday.